Welcome back to the channel. In the brief moment before anything seems to happen, the leopard is already behind its target. No roar, no warning, only a sudden movement from the shadows. This predator does not rely on long chases. It waits for a single mistake to change everything. And once the spotted shadow begins to move, the outcome of the hunt is often already decided. The encounter begins when a python tightens its powerful coils around its opponent. For a moment, the tension in the air seems to freeze. Yet the leopard does not panic. It twists its body and searches for an opening within the tightening loops. When the distance is finally restored, the confrontation comes to an end. The quiet moment on the high branch is only an illusion of calm. Beneath the leaves, the leopard lowers itself close to the ground, moving forward almost invisibly. Step by step, the distance quietly disappears. When the limit is reached, the moment passes in a single blink. In the wild, sometimes one costly second of distraction decides everything. The leopard does not rush forward like many hunters driven by impulse. It stands still for a long time, carefully reading every movement and every open space around the yard. Only then does it move forward with quiet confidence. That calm patience is what makes the predator truly formidable. Across the sunburned grass, two lions slowly press closer to their target without showing force. The cheetah still carries its famous speed, yet a single moment of hesitation changes the balance. The encounter ends almost as quickly as it begins. On the savanna, pressure between predators can shift in an instant. In the grass, a snake and an eagle are locked together in a tense struggle. A mother leopard approaches and watches carefully. She tests the situation, then pauses when the risk becomes clear. It is not hesitation, but awareness of the cost that curiosity may bring. High in the canopy, the leopard moves silently, almost like the shadow itself is shifting. This time, the target is not on the ground, but an eagle's nest suspended in a risky height. A brief, precise approach follows, and the leopard withdraws along the trunk with confident balance. Its climbing ability not only brings access to prey, but also opens spaces few rivals dare to enter. Under the harsh sun of the Indian plains, the leopard chooses a smaller target to avoid a long and exhausting chase. The distance closes quickly, as if every reflex has been sharpened through many demanding seasons. In this landscape, hunting is not only about speed. It is also the art of conserving energy for tomorrow. At Mala Mala, crossing a single boundary is enough to change the atmosphere. The lions tighten together as a unified group, forcing the leopard into a defensive position. The wild holds many invisible boundaries. Those who ignore them often face the consequences. Beside a quiet roadside, a dog continues searching for food, unaware it is already being watched. The leopard moves closer almost without leaving a trace. The scene still appears calm, yet in a single moment, that small lack of awareness changes everything. Along a Brazilian riverbank, a male jaguar watches the water patiently. It waits for the exact moment when a caiman reveals a small opening. When the opportunity appears, the jaguar moves swiftly and draws the opponent onto land. In nature, the one who controls timing often controls the outcome. A family of porcupines moves slowly along a quiet path when a dark figure suddenly approaches. Instead of panic, the parents immediately raise their quills and close every gap around the young. The leopard pauses, weighing the cost of a careless move. Not every small animal is easy to overcome. The python coils in a threatening posture, while the leopard adjusts its angle repeatedly. Each step forward and back becomes a careful test of distance. The moment is balanced between confidence and caution. In encounters like this, managing distance can be just as important as strength. The lionesses hold their formation, while the male lion arrives like the final piece closing the circle. The leopard rolls onto its back in defense, searching for the smallest opening between each advance. With pressure coming from every side, the space for escape grows thinner. In that moment, the strength of the group overwhelms the lone animal's chances. Across the open savanna, the cheetah moves like a living arrow, unleashing its speed in just a few seconds. Because that speed cannot last long, everything depends on choosing the perfect moment. A brief hesitation from the young antelope is enough to shift the outcome. In hunts like this, timing often decides everything. The hyenas approach the remains of a leopard with the calm focus typical of practical survivors. They do not waste any source of food, knowing that scarce days can return at any time. In nature, life continues through a cycle where nothing is truly wasted. With a single leap over a gate, the spotted shadow quietly appears inside a yard. Every movement is controlled and precise, as if the space had already been studied. For a leopard, the boundary between wilderness and human settlements can be thinner than it seems. The jaguar glides across the river in silence, its body nearly blending into the dark water. It waits for the moment when the caiman reveals a small opening. Then it moves from behind with careful precision. Within seconds on the shore, the balance of advantage has completely changed. The dog suddenly pauses, as if sensing something unusual. But the spotted shadow is already very close. The moment a light turns on, the element of surprise disappears. The leopard quietly withdraws. In places where wilderness and human spaces meet, a timely reaction can prevent danger from moving closer. At first glance, it may seem the sleeping man is the target. But the leopard's attention is fixed on the small movement close to the ground. The approach happens so quickly that there is almost no time for a response. Along the edge of the wild, animals kept outdoors are often the most vulnerable link. The chain appears to provide safety, yet in that moment it turns the yard into a place with no retreat. When the leopard appears, the distance disappears almost instantly. The chance to escape fades just as quickly. In areas close to wilderness, leaving animals outside at night can become a serious risk. Night falls, and the yard still feels calm as on any ordinary evening. But the soft steps of the leopard cross the fence almost without a sound. By the time the door opens, events have already moved too quickly to change the situation. By entering the leopard's territory, the dog unknowingly steps into a situation where the advantage already belongs to the predator. The hunter understands the terrain through familiarity, while the visitor has little room for error. Within only a few moments, the balance shifts clearly in one direction. Sometimes the line between safety and danger is only a single misplaced step. The leopard climbs high into a tree, yet the encounter is not fully over. The dog remains still, holding a rare calm while waiting for a small opening. In the wild, silence at the right moment can sometimes create an unexpected chance to survive. A serval mother and her kitten have just left their den when danger appears at very close range. The mother immediately chooses to stay hidden, knowing that stepping back can sometimes be the wisest decision when the difference is too great. The young serval can only raise its fur in a brief moment of instinctive defense. The wild can be harsh, but it also reveals the limits each species must respect. Hunger pushes the hyenas to move closer to the lion's meal, testing the situation in small groups. They do not rush forward blindly, but search for a weakness against a stronger rival. On the savanna, boldness only matters when it is guided by careful judgment. When wild animals begin appearing around homes more frequently, it is rarely a random event. Often it signals that food sources or easy opportunities have moved too close to human settlements. For wildlife, the presence of people is not always a barrier if the reward is easy enough to reach. Familiar paths lead the leopard back to residential areas again and again. It is not necessarily because the animal is bolder, but because easier opportunities exist there than in the wild. Keeping animals indoors, improving lighting, and limiting access are often the most practical ways to prevent encounters. The spotted shadow passes in a single brief moment, leaving behind the urgent call of the mother dog. The leopard uses surprise to its full advantage, while the distance grows faster than any attempt to follow. Along the boundary between neighborhoods and nature, a short moment of inattention can have lasting consequences. The crocodile is often a symbol of power along the water's edge, but today the roles shift. The jaguar chooses the moment when the distance is close enough and the water is no longer an absolute advantage. The approach is swift and decisive, and the struggle concludes on shore. There is no permanent throne in the wild, Only those who use circumstances best. The leopard does not need to display power. Precision and timing say everything. In the wild, sometimes a single small opportunity is enough to decide the outcome. Thank you for staying with the video until the end today. If you would like to continue exploring intense hunting moments from the natural world, please subscribe, leave a like, and turn on notifications so you do not miss the next videos.